Do you get another chance to buy it again at these levels if you miss it now? Maybe. We don't know if it has that downward correction or the sideways correction. If you're a longer term time horizon player, I'm not talking about the short term. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But I don't find this a bad level to dollar cost average or just put a chunk in and realize that there is going to be times when it's going to correct again. But the low is in. I'm very, very bullish on ETH overall. I just think it's the most vibrant, deepest, broadest ecosystem. Bitcoin is still the most dominant chain. I don't think that will last because of the dynamics of ETH. And again, there's no diss against Bitcoin. They're just different things. So macro investing is best summed up by the word denial. And people will interpret this two ways. People saying, yeah, the market's denying that it should go lower because earnings are going to be revised lower and that we're going into recession. And my version of that is, yes, tell me something I don't know. And markets are pretty clever. They forward look. So when I look at the macro data, I'm expecting a recession. Now, I understand it seems a bit not very clear because unemployment's not moving yet, stuff's happening, but all my forward-looking indicators suggest that we're going to go into a recession. But what is unexpected, it looks like it's not going to last very long. So the forward-looking stuff based on liquidity, and I'll come into why this is important in a sec, is actually saying that after about April, things start improving. So we go into the vortex now of everything's going to feel terrible, the unemployment's going to start rising, all of the data is going to come out bad. The Federal Reserve kind of got to the point where we're kind of almost done. They've gone from 50 basis point rate hikes to 25 basis points, and then it'll be stopped. Last time it stopped, Bitcoin went up 300%. ETH did about the same. The rest of the markets rallied, significantly. So I think that's where we are. We're at the juncture where the markets are sniffing out the turn, that something is changing. Inflation is going to start falling, and the narrative is going to shift towards we're in recession now. And that's when everybody thinks, well, we should be maximum bearish. But actually, the markets are forward looking and start discounting. So how does this all work between macro and crypto? Because that's the important thing. Because people are like, well, why do I care? Well, you need to care because liquidity, which is the amount of money in the system, the rate of change of the money that actually matters, that's what drives crypto cycles. I don't even think it's the halving at all. When I actually match up the peak in Bitcoin cycles, it exactly matches the peak in the ISM survey, which is the business cycle. Why? Because it also matches the peak in the liquidity cycle. But I think that crypto is just the liquidity cycle plus the secular adoption trend. So, when we all put that logarithmic trend up and it gets rid of all of the noise of the big sell-offs and rallies, we know that actually it's a pretty steady rise over time, right? That's the adoption of the technology. That's the game we're all really playing. But when you put it to the normal chart, it does this a lot. The thing that drives this is the liquidity in the system, the amount of money coming in the system. Crypto spring. It's the same for the economy as it is for crypto. So the economy will feel like winter time for a bit, and then spring will come. Crypto forward looks it by about 6 months, maybe 9 months, because ETH bottomed in June, Bitcoin bottomed in October. So we got that kind of 6-month lead time. So crypto's already in spring. And spring can be pretty amazing. So crypto spring in 2019, as I said, both ETH and Bitcoin did 285%. Then they backed off quite a long way for a while, even when the Fed were cutting rates and they stopped quantitative easing. They stopped quantitative tightening and moved to quantitative easing. It actually backed off a bit from then. So it's going to be some form of rally, probably a lot further than we are now, best guess. Consolidation, sideways or down, who the hell knows? And then as the economy continues to be weak and we go into an election, well, lo and behold, they're going to be giving out money again in certain ways, whatever way that is, whether it's tax cuts or anything to create liquidity in the system because you want to win an election. So it's like the same setup all over again. And that's probably why we keep seeing these setups, because it's driven by this liquidity cycle. And every time the Federal Reserve have been doing the same thing, they've either been trying to tighten rates or the economy slowed down and they need to pick it back up again. So it's interesting. So spring is where we are, and we've only just started. Do you get another chance to buy it again at these levels if you miss it now? Maybe. We don't know if it has that downward correction or the sideways correction. You will get a time to buy it after a consolidation later. But really, I would be, and this is what I've been doing, is buying, I was buying from June onwards as much as I could with any cash flow I got, because I'm still fully invested in crypto. I never sold anything, but I've been any cash flow I can, just putting it in is okay. Even now, I've just put money in recently, expecting a higher move. And then if that consolidation comes, that's when I would add some more again. So if you're a longer term time horizon player, I'm not talking about the short term. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But I don't find this a bad level to dollar cost average or just put a chunk in and realize that there is going to be times when it's going to correct again. But the low is in. Look at the crypto market. 18, 20% stable coins. Highest ever. That tells me everybody's going to panic if the bloody market goes up because they are underinvested. So it's very interesting. I am agnostic to who wins. I don't care. All I do is look at the chains and think, okay, I want to allocate capital. What ecosystem do I want to allocate to right now? What has the best risk-adjusted returns? So there are going to be several projects that do much better than Ethereum and will do really well. I actually think Solana will do better than Ethereum, possibly. And we can talk about that later. But there's many. So I'm not saying I'm an Ethereum maximalist in any way. I'm saying it has observable network effects beyond any other token ecosystem. Staking, as we know, you get given a yield if you stake crypto. And if you do it in Ethereum, what you're doing is you have to stake for a year if you're going to do it yourself, or if not, use Lido or Rocket Pool or whatever. And you've got a liquidity mismatch there because they're providing short-term liquidity and staking when it doesn't actually exist. So we know that these things can go wrong. Not saying that they will, but they could. So I won't do that. But this Shanghai fork means that liquidity is available to any staker at any time. What does that do? That creates a money market curve for Ethereum. I'm very, very bullish on ETH overall. I just think it's the most vibrant, deepest, broadest ecosystem with the most institutional style adoption, the most that people understand. And let's face it, there is only one money on the internet, and it's not Bitcoin. The money of the internet is Ethereum. It is the only ecosystem where we quote prices in a foreign currency. Solana, I think they're aiming for the broadest adoption by making it a consumer-friendly place, to onboard normies. Okay, that's very powerful. If they get that right, then, and their work with people like Meta and stuff like that, Instagram is very interesting. That's super amazing. Polygon, okay, amazing group. What are they doing? They're onboarding a lot of people. They've got a lot of throughput, super interesting. Sui hasn't even come onto the market yet. And that is faster, incredible team, stuff like that. So there's a lot going on here. But ETH is the easiest way because it's probably got the least risk. Bitcoin is still the most dominant chain. I don't think that will last because of the dynamics of ETH. And again, that's no diss against Bitcoin. They're just different things. I don't know. I always get, there was no upside to price predictions because your face gets rubbed in it. They cut this clip out and then say, look at you, you're a fucking moron. So, I just hate doing it, but I don't see any reason why it's not above 10,000. I see no reason at all why it's not above 10,000. So, that's a decent upside from here.
By 2024?
Yeah, because everybody thinks the same thing. Everybody got forced out. Everybody's like, the chain breaks. Tell me something we don't know. Do you assume that the team at Solana, who are very smart, don't know that and haven't been working on it? Of course they have. Well, all the VCs, they're all stuck. Everybody knows this. So then you've got to say, okay, what happens if everybody's wrong? What happens if it is actually that vibrant ecosystem that has the second largest NFT community and is onboarding a lot of people and has retail stores and has a mobile phone and is doing deals with Meta and is... Okay, well then the price is well wrong. Now, does it break out? I don't know. I don't have a huge bet in Solana, but I have a bet. And I would, if I saw the right situation, move some of my ETH into Solana. And that applies to other things too. But what Solana's interesting is it got battle tested. Right? Others haven't been battle tested. Polygon's not really been battle tested in the same way yet. You know, we haven't seen the full size of the community. Solana is very vibrant. So that's why you battle test something, you got the Lindy effect where it survived. And then we have a crypto spring and bull market arriving, and we can see real economic activity going on there. Okay, I like that. Wherever we are today, $24 to $240, whatever the high was, 283, I can't remember, whatever it was, is, well, okay, I'll take the 12x. That's the worst case. Well, I would rank, if you wanted to rank them, I would put Cardano third. I would put, I don't know between Algorand, and I know the Algorand guys pretty well, and I know the Avalanche guys pretty well. They're both trying to solve similar kind of things, which is finance, real assets, bunch of stuff like that. And they're both smart groups. So I don't know who will win out of those two. But I would say that Avalanche, because of its speed and its, those subnets or whatever they're called, they might have the technological advantage. But I don't know. Don't hold a strong view on any of those. Mm-hmm. And it's same with Cardano. It's got a very vibrant community, but it doesn't yet have the breakthrough in use cases that would cause a real explosion in price versus the rest of the space. It'll have beta to the rest of the space, but not a big change. And that's why, if I see the speed at which Avalanche got use, or Algorand less so either. That's kind of true of Algorand too, right? To be honest. And again, they're not like anything's a bad project. It's like it's the whim of how the world works.